Up, spinning to save your bacon.
Saving you money by changing the regs and some changes from Honda.
And fly away to a tropical paradise. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
The people of AOPA's Legal Services Plan work to help protect your certificates, and they love to fly as much as you do. The AOPA Legal Services Plan is offered as part of our Pilot Protection Services. It's a members-only benefit provided to thousands of pilots like you.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Alyssa Cobb and Warren Morningstar filling in for Tom Haynes.
Well, here's a shocker. Some FAA regs and procedures are a bit behind current technology.
Well, that's true, but not surprising considering how fast technology changes. But that creates an opportunity for AOPA to work with FAA for regulatory changes that will make things better for all of us.
Well, what we're trying to accomplish is allowing the instrument proficiency check to be accomplished entirely from an ATD.
ATD, or Aviation Training Device, now most folks call them SIMs, and right now you can do most of an instrument proficiency check in an ATD except for a circle to land and landing out of an instrument approach. Now AOPA is pushing to eliminate those requirements. Circle to land approaches are becoming fewer as more runway ends get proper instrument approaches. And demonstrating a landing really isn't the most important part of an IPC. It's really making that transition from instrument to visual flight. And you can demonstrate that in the ATD.
In our most recent survey of our membership, as far as goals for the advocacy department, we're hearing our membership loud and clear, and the leading interest is to save money, make flying more affordable, and to make it safer. That's the second leading interest. And we believe this change goes to both of those goals. Using an ATD avoids having to use an aircraft, saving money, and also being able to use an ATD for all of these different maneuvers of the IPC actually increases safety, because it allows scenario-based training, it allows being able to change the weather, all kinds of different factors. Simulating failures of systems is more realistic. So we believe this goes to the two core asks from our membership.
And AOPA is also asking FAA to develop a technical standard so that PIREPs could be filed electronically through ADSB.
And AOPA is taking issue with some of the proposed regs for remote drone identification and tracking. AOPA supports the goal of being able to track unmanned aircraft and keeping them separated from manned aircraft, but the proposed regs put an unfair burden on hobbyist and model aircraft flyers without really improving safety, and that's something we're not cool with. The regs are pretty complex and involve a lot of different players. Because of that, AOPA asked the FAA to extend the comment period, but unfortunately the FAA refused. Comments are due March 2nd. There's much more on our website under News and Videos. And the FAA is looking for comments on type certification requirements for delivery drones. Amazon, UPS, and others are looking to deliver packages by drone. That would require them to fly over people, at night, and beyond line of sight, something the current regs prohibit small drones from doing.
Well, it's been nearly 4 years since the HondaJet was certified, and now Honda is adding new features to the light jet. Tom Haynes recently took the new model for a flight to check it out.
Minutes after takeoff, the HondaJet Elite is rocketing upward at nearly 4,000 feet a minute when suddenly a rock concert breaks out in the cabin. Music is coming from the new Bon Jovi Digital Power Station sound system. It's one of the many new features on this new HondaJet Elite. The Elite includes several improvements over the original HondaJet, which was certificated back in 2015. Many of the new features focus on passenger experience and comfort. The new enhanced cabin management system, for example, controls multiple functions in the cabin, including the LED cabin lights and window shades. The cabin is also quieter now, thanks to an innovative solution: perforated engine inlets. Tiny holes drilled inside the inlet change the frequency of the engine noise in the cabin. In the cockpit, the Elite benefits from many of the Garmin G3000 upgrades, including higher resolution displays and faster processors. The Elite also performs better. The model includes a 100-pound increase in maximum ramp weight and a 250 nautical mile range increase. Takeoff distance also shorter by as much as 500 feet, thanks to the removal of the vortex generators from the tail surface. Throughout my flight in the Elite, I noticed small tweaks and adjustments. It should be no surprise that a company known for producing a well-engineered car would produce such a well-mannered and thoughtful airplane. The Elite takes the already impressive HondaJet to a new level. Tom Haynes, AOPA Live.
The HondaJet costs just over $5.2 million. I'll take two.
Embraer is rolling out some upgrades to its best-selling Phenom 300E. This latest variant boasts a faster max cruise speed and more range. Upgraded avionics include a great safety feature, an emergency descent mode that can take over for an incapacitated pilot. There's also a new available Bossa Nova interior. Now, a tricked-out Phenom 300E, it'll set you back about $9.45 million. Guess I'll stick with my Cessna 170. Well, Canadian train and plane maker Bombardier is trying to find a lot of dollars. And according to a Wall Street Journal story, they're in talks to sell their business jet unit to Textron, that's Cessna's parent company. Bombardier makes the Learjet, the Challenger, and the Global business jets, but the company that started out making snowmobiles is buried in debt. They've already sold off their commercial aircraft division to raise money. And if you're looking to buy an aircraft company, well, there's one for sale. There's a lot for sale this week. Lake Aircraft has engaged a company to sell all its assets. Lake made what was probably the most recognized amphibious aircraft in general aviation. The last Lake Amphib rolled off the production line in 2015. Now you can buy everything you need to put the aircraft back in production. There's just been no price listed.
Well, no matter what you fly, there is a technique that could save your bacon if you really get in trouble. Inadvertent spin, unexpected upset. If you can do this one thing, you probably will recover.
You are in a skid? Yep. That's a sight that nobody should ever see turning final, and yet people do.
And if you do see it, push.
Pushing is the answer when pulling is often compelling.
Yep, when the ground is rushing towards you, pulling is very compelling, but fight that instinct. A push may very well save your bacon. Consider the base to final stall. You're overshooting final, so you kick in some more rudder to hurry the turn, but you don't bank as much as you should because, hey, you're close to the ground. You're in a skid, and if you add some back pressure, but if you push,
This time, as soon as you start to see that roll-off occur, I just want you to push. There you go. The point is that you can be on your way into a spin, and if you just quickly push forward, then any roll-off tendency stops.
Catherine Cavanaugh runs Ace Aerobatic School in Sewanee, Tennessee. She thinks every pilot should do spin training.
For spin recoveries, how would you know the kinds of pressures it takes to recover from spin until you've done it?
She teaches in an aerobatic bonanza or a Cessna 150 Aerobat she calls Wilbur. Now, neither are ideal aerobatic airplanes, but
He has a yoke, and it's really awkward to do aerobatics with a yoke. But if you were to get in trouble in your 182, you've got a yoke in front of you. He's not optimized as an aerobatic performer, but he's great in terms of emergency maneuver training.
Another maneuver is recovery from an upset.
Say if you were to, from a gust of wind or maybe wake turbulence, if you were to start getting turned over, what I'd like you to do is push for control authority and try to keep the plane upright. But if the plane if you just can't keep the plane upright, what I say is if you can't beat them, join them. So go ahead and continue the roll, and unloading that wing is going to help keep your nose up, and it's going to help you minimize your altitude loss.
In other words, push.
Now you're going to be pushing good.
Do what you need to do to keep the nose of the airplane in the blue.
The elevator is your best bet.
And remember, push. You know, Alyssa, in some 40 years of flying, I'd never spun an airplane before. And
Really?
Yeah, and that first time it's really disorienting. And I will also confess I don't have the stomach for aerobatics. But I will go back and do it again because I think it is really valuable.
It is. I agree. Spin training, when I did my spin training for the CFI, it not only gave me more confidence in that, but I had a fear of stalls, so every check ride I was doing up to that point, I have a big gulp before doing them. And once you can recover from a spin and those unusual attitudes, it's definitely a helpful skill to have.
Right, and Catherine is a great instructor. In fact, for those of us who've been flying for a long time, probably will know about William Kirshner's book. She and Bill were partners for a good number of years in the aerobatic school, and she has just continued on that training. And she is also a speaker at our fly-ins. She's scheduled to be at all 3 this year.
That'll be wonderful. Great insights that she can share with everybody.
Indeed.
When we come back, flying away to a tropical paradise.
And a flying visit to Mars?
Purchasing your own aircraft is an exciting experience. AOPA Finance simplifies the process, saving you money with lower interest rates and hassle-free loans, so you get into your new aircraft sooner. AOPA Finance, the right approach to buying an aircraft.
Welcome back. We have 2 honors for aviation pioneers to tell you about. First, an aircraft designer like no other. Burt Rutan will receive the Hoover Award next month in Washington, D.C. Rutan has never let conventional wisdom stand in his way. He's championed the canard configuration and spawned generations of home builders with his very easy and long easy designs. And he's figured out unconventional ways to get to space, too. If you'd like to attend the award ceremony, you can get tickets on our website. The honors keep rolling in for 100-year-old Tuskegee Airman Charles McGee. He recently received an honorary promotion to Brigadier General. And you may have seen him, he was the guest of honor for the coin toss at the Super Bowl and was also a guest of honor at President Trump's State of the Union address Tuesday evening. Now, we were honored to help celebrate General McGee's 100th birthday in December with a Vision Jet flight from our Frederick headquarters to Dover Air Force Base.
He is such a remarkable man. I had the great privilege to do an interview at his home a little while ago, and the stories that he can tell, and flew with him on that Vision Jet, and he flew that Vision Jet. No, he wasn't along for the ride. He actually flew it.
Yeah, and such a long time coming. I'm glad that he is here with that honor.
Yeah, and it's also very nice that this is all happening during Black History Month, because he certainly is an extraordinary part of Black history.
He is such an inspiration to everyone.
To everyone, indeed, right. Well, the Sierra Nevada Corporation is working on new technology to improve helicopter safety. Now, one of the challenges for helicopter pilots are brownout or whiteout conditions, where during landing the rotors kick up dirt or snow and instantly the pilot has no visual reference. Sierra Nevada is developing a sensor that would allow pilots to see through the haze. The system combines sensor images with terrain maps for displays on an instrument panel or a head-up display. The technology is being developed for the military, but will also be available for civilian operators like firefighters and medevac choppers. While the initial technology is for helicopters, the company also sees potential use in the fixed wing and eventually even the urban air mobility markets. And speaking of helicopters, Honeywell has released its forecast for helicopter sales. The prognosticators predict the delivery of 4,100 new civilian-use helicopters through 2024. Now, that's up slightly from the 2019 forecast. Light twins used for corporate or VIP transport will likely lead sales. Well, if you live in a colder part of the country like we do right now, this is a time of year when you really start dreaming of a vacation to a warmer place.
Yes, and AOPA Senior Content Editor Ian Twombly takes us for a flight in tropical Costa Rica.
Nowhere are flying's gifts more on display than in Costa Rica. This is especially true of the wild and beautiful Osa Peninsula. Driving there from San Jose would take an entire day, so the best way to get there is by general aviation. We depart Tobias Bolaños International Airport in San Jose, bound for Karate, a small village on the south side of the peninsula. After departure, we head south to soar along the route to the Pacific coast. Here we get our first glimpse of Costa Rica's intense beauty, where jagged green mountains slide down to churning rivers. As we continue our route, we slide down the shoreline with a rainbow of ocean colors mixing with rivers on one side, and a wall of imposing mountains and dense clouds on the other. Thankfully, it's mostly clear over the beach. The Karate Airport is nothing more than a thin strip of concrete with tall trees on three sides. We line up straight with the pavement and pull in that last notch of flaps, yielding an impressively short arrival.
The small Central American country of Costa Rica prides itself on its environmental stewardship, and nowhere really is that more evident than here at the Osa Peninsula. Now, the Osa is a wild peninsula full of mostly the Corcovado National Park that includes more than 2.5% of the world's species. But you wouldn't know that here at the Laguna Vista Villas, a real luxury experience, high on a bluff, overlooking the ocean, a lagoon, surrounded by scarlet macaws, howler monkeys, and all kinds of wild and amazing animals.
The large deck at Laguna Vista has both an exceptional view and a fabulous cooling breeze. Looking out from the deck over the lagoon and the ocean is the best way to pass the time. The next morning, we're treated to a beautiful sunrise, but the weather changes rapidly here, so we're eager to depart, and as we arrive at the airplane, the fog starts to creep in. Immediately after takeoff, we bank quickly away from the train and follow the beach north. There's virtually no airspace to contend with, leaving vast areas to fly wherever you want. And that's a good thing, because the view is completely encompassing. There's not a soul in sight. We zoom up the coast and soon see the international airport as we overfly downtown San Jose with its modern condos and tightly packed houses. It's an astonishing transition from the remote wilderness we left this morning, and it shows how diverse the culture, landscape, and weather can be in such a small country, made even smaller with airplanes. Ian Twombly, AOPA Live.
You can read more about Costa Rica and many other flying destinations coming up in the March issue of AOPA Pilot Magazine. Wow, I mean, that's rain or shine is beautiful in Costa Rica. Ian, I am jealous.
Yeah, I want to go. You think we could get your 170 down there?
Right, it'd take a little while, but what a beautiful way to explore Costa Rica for sure.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, and that's our show for this week. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to like, comment, and send us an email if you like. We love to hear from you.
And we leave you this week with a flight to a place that's about as far from the tropics as you can get. It might even look a little like Mars. We'll see you next Thursday.